Okay, so that's you personally. Now, speaking in a general sense for women and ladies, I'm not just going to put it all on Lynette and our listeners who's chatting in right now, but the overall general consensus, what do you feel as though women typically look for in a man when they first meet a man or see a man?
Physically?
In general.
I don't know. I guess that really, in general, it's kind of hard to generalize that. Most women want the height. Most women say, I want a tall man. I mean, you don't really hear too many women saying short. But
what's that? Tall, dark, and handsome?
Tall, dark, and handsome.
Don't fit me at all. Forget y'all. I'm married anyway.
I never even said all that. I just wanted tall. That's all I said. I mean, you're taller than I am. So, I mean, I guess you...
Not with heels on when you wear heels. What? Yeah. Woo! The chat is lighting up, ladies. They want to know what
happens in the bedroom. How it goes and how it's gonna go down.
Yeah, right. But they want to know how his plumber game is.
Definitely. And she's right.
Yeah, definitely.
She's definitely right. Prior to you, that is definitely one thing you wonder about. Because, unfortunately, in society today, it's like, I am not about to be waiting, and what if I wait and then it turns out to be a mess? But that's one of the reasons why God made sex for marriage. Because...
Only?
Because, that's the reason that God made sex for marriage. First of all, we already know for procreation. But the reason that if you waited until marriage, you would have nothing else to compare it to.
Exactly.
That's one of our issues, because we start having sex prior to marriage, and then once we find that person that we want to be with, or whatever the case is, it's like, oh man, but what if he's not good in bed? And but if you didn't have sex prior to get married, you wouldn't have anything compared to. You couldn't say he was bad in bed, because what does that even mean? So that's why I was supposed to wait. But definitely how he is in bed.
That's right. Sis, amen.
Definitely, how he is in bed, and I don't know. I was a little different anyway, so I can't really generalize.
Yeah, you a corny John. So, so I can speak on behalf of myself, not all men, and what we perceive as though women look for. But yes, the height is one thing, looks definitely, what we're like in the bedroom, definitely, the size of our wallets is something.
Yeah.
Because you have those gold diggers and you have gold diggers. There's a difference between the two. Obviously, gold diggers looking for that money. Gold diggers are more that independent woman. But
you saying GOLD versus GOL?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, sense of humor. Yes, can he make me laugh?
Yeah.
And that was always my thing. I laugh you out them panties back in the day.
Oh gosh. Mess.
Yes, I am a mess. I am a saved and sanctified mess. It's all gravy though. But that's how God made me. I'm not going to change just because I'm saved. Guess what? God made me this way. So I'm going to be that way. So looking at all of these different factors that the typical woman normally looks for in a man, the main thing is always missing. God. Yeah. Women are looking for, I wonder how his relationship is with God.
Right.
I never heard that.
Yeah, in general, no, you don't really hear that. You don't.
Don't.
Because like I said, even once I started forming a better relationship with God, I only said that I want a man that's going to go to church with me. But that's really because, like I said, I was just developing my own relationship with God. So I didn't really have the concept of a relationship with God. So my whole perception was, okay, he gonna go to church with me every Sunday and I'm gonna be happy. Look at us now. We in church like every Sunday and whatever other days, but ministries and all of that. But it's you're right. It's not really that common for someone to say that. Now it's like if I was single right now, I'd be like, I need somebody that's gonna pray with me, and we're gonna do Bible study together, and
like, yeah, sis, you're gonna be looking for a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, even with the PKs that I know, and those who aren't in the church world who don't know what the PKs are, the preacher's kids, they still don't even be looking for the same things, and a lot of times they are caught up in the stuck in a church, sheltered, all God, all the time, and it's like I don't really understand what it is they look for, but being caught up, they suffer, and it's like, okay, well, yeah, my father is a minister, my mother's a minister, a pastor, whatever the case is, but I don't really know. So they go out searching for the wrong things as well, and then they are looked at in the less favorable light because their parents are in the ministry, and it's like, yo, they out here acting a whole mess when they're doing the exact same things that your child is doing, but you know, it's them higher standards that we put on people. But at the end of the day, women rarely look for a man who has a relationship with God, and that's the main thing they look for.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about all the different things, the sex, money, looks, his sense of humor, his family, all of those different things. So
yeah, and a comment that we just received, it says this, I'm pretty sure I'm correcting this the right way, but it's hard to connect with what you don't know, which is true. You know, just like going back to what I was saying earlier, I want someone who is going to go to church with me, that kind of thing. I knew nothing further than going to church. You know, I didn't know anything about Bible study and praying together, and I didn't have an example of that, of a godly relationship, so that was nowhere in my requirements. You know, I didn't know anything outside of that, so that's one of the reasons why women go out and look for the things that they're looking for. If you don't have a good example of, or if you didn't have an example of a man of substance that was around you, then what else are you going to look for? You're just going to look for the physical part of it because you don't have anything else to compare it to.
Yep, and the comment that was just posted in there by my minister partner here, it's hard to connect what you don't know to what you want. If you don't know God, you're not going to ask for a godly man or woman. So, I mean, going back to that, and women not typically looking for a godly man, it's because they don't have that relationship with God themselves. So they just know what the world shows them. And I mean, quite frankly, this whole world is very sexual. So the temptation is all over the place. And even at a young age, from commercials to TV shows, it's just sex everywhere. And it gets your mind thinking, and it's easy to stray away from God, especially if you don't have that relationship with God. It's easy to stray further away from that relationship and becoming of the world, because you're just so caught up in the sex, and then the peer pressure that people face. You know, your friends are talking about sex, and you're like, yo, what? Yeah, I was just doing that last week, man. Right. Trying to fit in, trying to be cool when you don't know nothing about it. But that's the case that we deal with. And so, straight up, the first thing that a woman needs to do when you're ready for marriage, when you're ready to have that man come in and whisk you away and all of that happily ever after stuff, get yourself right with God first. Yep. Get your relationship with God right first and foremost.
Yes, definitely. And he'll take it from there. I mean, once you form that relationship with God, he'll steer you in the directions that you need to go. You know, so it's like we question what it is that we should do next and what does God want for us. But once you start forming that relationship, you can hear the voice of God more clearly. You know, and it may not be a miraculous moment like they show in movies, where he's whispering in your ear, or you hear this loud booming voice come from the sky and all of that. He speaks to us in different ways, in ways that we'll understand. A lot of times God speaks to me through music. So I'll hear the same message constantly through music over and over again in different songs. It'll be the exact same message, so with that, I'll know that God is speaking to me, and I'll listen more clearly, and I know to kind of go to my quiet space or start writing or something like that. So because I have that relationship with him, I know what his voice sounds like to me. And what his voice sounds like to me may not be the same way that Daniel receives his voice. So that's very, very important. And with that, he'll guide you, and you'll be able to hear him more clearly once he is telling you the directions to go.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Can you read those comments for me, Big?
Yes.
You got your glasses on.
You don't even wear glasses. Bye. I need an updated prescription. Anyway, so I'm telling them all my business on air. Okay, it says also, when we have a surfacey relationship with God, I like that surfacey relationship. So that just that surface, just the part that people see.
Yeah.
Nothing deep. But when you have that surfacey relationship with God, we look for outward signs of our partners being godly. So if he or she prays or says the right things, then boom, suddenly we're with a man or a woman of God. And that is so true. That goes exactly with what I said. I just wanted a man to go to church with me. Because in my eyes, that's what a man of God would do. He gonna go to church with me and we can pray together. I mean, I didn't even think praying together. He just gonna go to church with me. We gonna be real cute on Sunday mornings with our matching, he gonna have on a suit and I'm gonna have on a dress and we gonna match.
Yep, and like she said, surfacey though.
Surfacey.
That's the surfacey part, that the part that we portray to the world, which we know a lot of people who can say hallelujah, say amen, pray with you, but they ain't walking that walk at all. So like Sadarius said, when that foundation is with God, is easy to discern what is meant to be in your life and what doesn't need to be. So that surfacey relationship won't really attract you if you're in a deep relationship with God, because you'll be able to see right away, like, yeah, okay, all right, I'll give them a chance. But once they start to show their true colors, then you'll easily discern, like, no, they're not really a man or a woman of God. But so I have a question. So because he who finds a wife finds a good thing, right? So what if you're a woman and you're in a relationship with God, you have that relationship, and you're not really pressed about finding a man. You have that trust in God, like, okay, when it's time, then he'll come. So say you walking down the mall, you shopping with your girlfriends, and this dude over there, he just catch you. He just catch your eye, like you don't know what it is. He might not be like looking all good like me, or like one of the famous models or something, but it's something, he just catches your eye. Is it okay for you to approach him?
Oh, for you to approach him. I think that it's okay for a woman to approach a man. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean we're finding a husband. I think that we can initiate conversation, to see where that person's head is. Or it may even be that we're initiating conversation so we can show them where our head is. And that's just seeing if there's mutual interest, period. I don't think that's a violation of whatever. So she struggles. I know. We had this conversation. Remember the hands and the popcorn. We'll talk about that a little later. I ain't gonna put you on blast though, but yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I think that conversation is fine, and we can initiate a friendship. We can initiate, and you never know. You may become the best of business partners. You may become partners in business. You may become. I might need a service that you provide, whatever the case is. So yeah, a woman can definitely approach a man, in passing.
Yes, indeed. And we have another comment, but I'm gonna make this point real quick. So, you guys who listened to the early shows that we had, our first couple shows where Lynette and I really broke down our past, our relationship, and how we got to where we are today. And, you know, I found Lynette, but I knew her for years. But I didn't find her until God told me it was time.